What's up, guys? I'm not sure if you guys saw in the news the desperation of Ford. They are desperate to sell you a Ford pickup truck, and I'm not just making that up. And you can kind of tell why they could be a little desperate. Back in 2018, lots were full. But in 2020 to 21 to 22 to 23 to even like part of 24, they didn't have as much inventory. I mean, when was the last time you can count on all your fingers and toes platinum trim levels of Super Duties? I still remember the day when people were going crazy about the Ford Lightning trucks, and imagine wanting a Tremor. When the Tremor first came out, I didn't do a review on one for probably a year because every time I went to go to a dealership to do one, they were already sold and obviously spoken for. But now, as I just said, Ford has some desperation for the consumer. I'm going to read an article to you guys. And as I've said in the past, whenever it's a bad time to buy, that probably means it's a good time to buy, because dealerships are willing and able to do what it takes to sell you a truck. Now, I have to give a special shout out to King Garf. They have a great selection of inventory here, so be sure to ask for Ken. I got a key to this F-150 Tremor. Oh my goodness, let me show this truck to you guys real quickly. Now, this is a nice truck. Talk about getting everything you want without having to do any upgrades to it. The only thing it needs is a level, that's it. But this truck is a 402A, which is the top trim for the Tremor package, and with a few options like the twin panel and then the space white paint, which is really nice. $80,710. Now you guys see it has the black bumpers, like finished in like a matte finish. It has what I always call the gimmicky tailgates, but it's really nice though. I like the gimmicky tailgates. Also, this is all power. I love the dual exhausts with that matte finish on them too. If you want to put this back up, just use your knee. It's easy. Smart key system, 10-way driver seat, leather, and this is a really nice interior. Heated and ventilated seats, dual climate control, twin panel roof. 80 grand is a lot of money, but with what you're getting in this truck, it's a really nice package. So why is Ford in desperation to sell such a nice truck? Let's take a quick peek at this article. Now, I want to note that I don't think that Ford is actually having a problem selling trucks. However, they are expanding on the buying of this truck to people who may not be as fortunate right now. In other words, if you have bad credit, this is a good time to go look at a Ford truck, because Car and Driver has this article is bad credit, no problem. Ford offers lower F-150 interest rates for higher risk buyers. It says here, as is the case with all new cars, it's expensive to buy a full-size pickup truck right now. New vehicle prices have spiked nearly 30% since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, making it especially difficult for low-income buyers with shaky credit histories to snag a car off a dealer lot. According to the Wall Street Journal report, Ford has launched a promotion to make purchasing a new F-150 pickup a bit more financially feasible for higher-risk buyers. So let me get this straight. If I have bad credit and I was looking to get maybe something as cheap as possible, they're actually going to be giving me an opportunity to buy maybe more truck. Like if I want to get this platinum with this longer bed here, man, this is a good looking truck, by the way. Has a star white paint. How much is this thing? $80,510. Now this is actually a lower spec for the platinum. They actually have higher trims because you can get 22s and you can get like an even nicer interior design with like the smoked truffle. But let's keep reading because we don't really know exactly what they're trying to do here. Let's see. Now, I have to mention that this article is from last month, and I decided to do a video on it simply because they did extend this into October. I didn't have enough time last month to get this in there, so let's keep reading. While Ford hasn't released details about the range of interest rates being offered as part of the promotion, the WSJ report claimed that Ford's finance arm could give subprime buyers a similar rate to those with a top credit score around 5% currently. Okay, so people who do the right thing are going to get the same interest rate as people who don't. Maybe they're giving something for people who have good credit. We'll keep reading. Let's just keep reading. I don't want to jump to conclusions quite yet. Ultimately, rates are decided based on Ford's proprietary credit scoring model, and Ford doesn't intend on lending to anyone unable to make payments, which no dummy would do that, although yes they would. Backing up that claim, a Ford spokesperson told the Journal, "We only finance customers we believe are credit worthy and have the capacity to pay. We have done these types of national programs in the past, extending a promotional rate to customers who meet our credit criteria. In addition to making trucks more accessible to consumers, the promotion is also designed to boost sales. The F-Series remains the top-selling pickup in the United States with 222,459 units sold in the second quarter of 2025. In addition to the F-150, the figure also includes F-250 and Super Duty models. Still, Ford is looking to increase the F-150 sales at the end of this quarter. This promotion, which is expected to conclude at the end of this month and the final day of the third fiscal quarter, will undoubtedly help move some product." Now, some of you may or may not know this, but I used to work in indirect lending, and I dealt a lot with what was called subprime customers. A subprime customer is basically a 630 credit score and below. Now, obviously, to make people feel better about themselves, they did create something called near prime. Near prime was basically like a 581 to like a 630. However, there were parameters to it. You had to have a low debt to income in order to qualify for near prime. So banks try to play games to help people buy what they want. See, the reality is, if you can't pay cash, you shouldn't be able to buy it, especially something this expensive. And I mean, listen, I'm not talking against you, I'm talking to myself too. Really, the reality is, I would not own what I have if I didn't own a business, simply because of the interest that I pay monthly. However, because of my income, I have to find ways to offset that so I don't have to pay a lot in taxes, because that's the way you run a business. And a lot of smart business owners will buy things in their business to help cash flow. And that's just the best way I'm going to put it right now. So when you have bad credit, obviously you're going to have the highest interest rate that's available. So when you're looking at a captive bank like Ford Motor Company, or Ford Motor Credit I should say, they're going to have subventions for customers who have bad credit. So as you just saw in that article, you might qualify for a tier 0 or tier 1, which I would qualify for, because you know, I do actually pay my bills. Me and my wife, a long time ago, we had a lot of debt, and she and I both hated life for a little bit. And one day we decided enough is enough. We took the Dave Ramsey class and boom, got out of debt. So with all that being said, if you're someone who is looking to buy a truck right now, you have not the greatest credit, this really is the time to buy, because alongside of that subvention for the rate, they still have rebates available, which I'm going to show you. Well, I'm not going to show it to you. I can't show this. I can just read it off to you real quickly. I will admit, I did not take a really good picture of this, but here's what I'll tell you. Depending on where you live at, your incentives could be slightly different, okay? So this is for October of 2025. So for F-150 for 25 model year, they're showing 0.9, 2.9, and 3.9. Now that is a subvented rate, so you could lose rebates and not get anything back for it. My strong recommendation is, if you're someone who's going to flip out of your cars in 2-3 years, do not take subvented rate. Take the rebates. Because I had a guy a long time ago when I was in the car business, he was so adamant about taking 0 for 60 on a Chevy Malibu, and I told him, I said, bro, rates are so cheap today. I think I got him a rate for like 2.89. Crazy. And he was like, no, I want 0%, because he wanted to brag to his friends that he got 0%. Well, he gave up $5 grand in rebates to get that 0%. Stupid. I mean, the finance charge over 6 years wasn't even $3 grand. So again, the reality was, he had to have 0%, but then he decided in 2 years, I don't want this car anymore. I want to get a Cadillac. Well, when he came in for his trade-in value, he thought we were trying to take him for a ride because we gave him literally no money for it, but I had to show him, bro, you gave up $5 grand in rebates and you didn't put any money down and you financed your taxes. So with all that said, yes, you do have a high, you know, loan balance still on this car. Yeah, it's all being paid interest free, but it's still a high balance. I want to say it was like within 18 months that he came back. So when you are looking at subventions, you do have to look at this. But if you have bad credit, 7 times out of 10, the subvented rates are always going to work to your favor, especially if you have a rate over 10%. See, that's the only thing I hate about business loans. See, my loans do carry higher interest rates because they are higher risk for the banks. But again, I can write off all my interest. Now, I know that Trump had discussed that for just regular Joe Blow people to go in and buy cars and write off the interest of their auto loan. And I'm not sure if that's already been passed. I think it might have been passed in the big beautiful bill, but if it is available to you, then that is one nice benefit, is you can write off your interest. So with that being said, do your research. I think that this really is a good time to buy a truck, SUV, whatever, because there is more inventory on the dealer lots. And this is the best time to go in and see what's available. And you have a big selection of everything. So why would you think right now is the worst time to buy because of obviously the prices of these vehicles? I know some people still believe that in the future these trucks are going to be worth half what they are today, and maybe that's the case. But if that's the case, then everything else is going to be worth half. So your house is going to be worth half. It's not going to just affect one thing, it's going to affect all things. So that's why I think personally, people hoping that truck prices come down 40%, everything's going to come down significantly. So I hope this was helpful. I think that, yes, this is the right time to buy, because when people aren't buying, that means that there's more opportunity for you to negotiate. See, back in 2020 to 2022, I didn't buy any cars. Well, I did, but the ones that I bought, I was able to get stupid money off. Like I bought a Charger Hellcat, and at the time they had like 7 grand in rebates, and I got employee pricing. I got like 17 grand off that car. And when I went to go sell it, like 6 or 7 months later, I actually made money on the car. So that was really the only thing I bought. Now, as far as trucks went, I tried to go buy trucks, but they wanted sticker or more, and I said, nope, not doing that. So I waited. Now, this is the time again to go out and buy a car, because they are a lot cheaper. Now, if you don't need a car, then yes, then why would you be looking to buy? But if you do need one, or if you're looking to upgrade soon, this might be the time to start looking what's available. Hope you guys liked the video. If you want me to do more finance videos, as I said, I did work in indirect lending. I do know some of the tips and tricks of the trade of that too. So yeah, let me know in the comment section. Peace.